Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about aging well. How well can you age? That's up to you. So a couple of things you want to think about when aging is, for instance, chronic backache, the most common physical ailment amongst the human population. What plays a role in that? Which circumstances or causes do you want to keep in mind? Loss of mobility. Well, you can see in the handstand position, the overhead mobility is a thing as an example of many forms of mobility that we lose as we age. But we don't really lose it. It's due to the lack of using it that we lose it. Our body adapts. So if you do something very little or not at all, your body adapts to save energy, to not take in those positions anymore. So take, for instance, this position. It's literally a yoga test for older people, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. A couple of years back, one of my 65-year-old clients came back to one of my trainings and said he was so surprised. He went walking with his dogs, with a couple of his neighbor friends, all around about the same age group, very good area, going for a walk on the beach. And the one guy just started doing yoga. His one friend just started doing yoga. And they said that they do this old man's test. And they lie down on the floor, on their back, and they see if they can reach overhead. So no gravity, no complicated movements, just that. And he said all of his friends could only get to here. He was the only one that could go full range of motion. Now, one of the small little details I like to work with here, and I'll cover that in more detail further on, is how you can improve your mobility in daily activities without thinking about it. Because if you need to think about it, you know, humans, we forget or we don't prioritize. Oh, that's what I wanted. Right, so reduced balance, also really same as mobility. The less we do it, the less we can. Yeah, so the more you do it, the more you can do it. Simple example, standing on one foot. The same gentleman of the previous example, we used to train a couple of years. He's a doctor, fantastic guy. And at some point I heard about this old man's test, another one. We have to stand up on one foot, pick up a sock, put on a shoe, tie your shoes, and do the same on the other side. Now, this gentleman was past 60, but I knew he could do it because we've been trained together at least twice a week on average for a couple of years. Consistency is key. So without explaining anything to him, I put a camera down. This is a couple of years back. I've still got the video on my Instagram feed. And I explained to him what we're going to do. Take off your shoes and socks, put it on the floor. And we stood there, started the video, no pressure. And out in public, just for the fun of it. And I knew he was up for it, most people aren't, and I get that. And we just did it. We filmed it, we pick up a sock, put it on, pick up the shoe, put it on. The stability, the balance there was fantastic. At that age, love that. But why should it be at that age? It should be at all ages. So reduced balance is an age factor, or is it a lack of use factor? And then fear of falling. Now, I find this a very important one. As we age and you lose mobility, you have chronic back problems, you have reduced balance, and you also have an increased number of stories of people as they age that they fall, they break their hip or get really badly hurt and they can't get up anymore. It sounds horrendous, and it is. It's scary. So this is one of the reasons why with people that get a little bit older and grow a fear of falling, then I will literally teach them how to get to the ground and back up. And that's a movement you can practice. There's literally a movement called the Turkish get up that you can progress to. And the Turkish get up seems complicated, and you can do it as a 16-year-old, as a 60-year-old, as an 86-year-old. Right? Then, general wear and tear. Now, this is applicable to humans as it is to cars, as it is to a desk chair. That's normal. That's just a normal cycle. So obviously everything works in cycles. The most simplest thing you want to think of, if you've got a really expensive car that you use and want to use regularly, and you want to show it off to your friends, do you do proper maintenance? Do you put in a lot of time and money to do maintenance on it, or have maintenance done on it? The catch is though, with yourself, you need to do the maintenance. You can have someone coach you, but you still need to put in the work yourself. It's not like you give your car to a mechanic here, do everything. You can go to a doctor and have things fixed up, but he ain't going to make your joints stronger. He's not going to make your muscles better. He's not going to improve your balance and reaction capability and mobility. Those are things you need to do by yourself. But with a good coach or mechanic or someone in that field that can help you consistently with your programming, the maintenance is a great thing. And then the general wear and tear gets slowed down a lot. Now the other thing, slow recovery rate, which kind of goes with the first thing, but our recovery rate slows down a little bit. All that means is that your programming needs to be adapted. So where you are 16 years old, you need 1.5, 2 days rest from very hard training. When you're 62 years old, you might take 3 or 4 days. Same thing, the intensity can be slightly lower. You also want to think, do you still need to train to a max? No. To have a strong deadlift, a strong back, you won't need to deadlift with good form. Make it a habit for daily activities, to pick up heavy things when you go gardening with good form and be strong enough for it. But you don't have to go max. Whereas when you're 16 and you need to be competitive with all the other people of your age, yeah, fine. You want to go max. The risk of injury is a lot lower and you don't think about it, you're not bothered. Yeah, so slow recovery rate is something that you want to go into your programming and periodization of your trainings and activities. But that's fine. You can still build up. There's still a proper linear upward line possible. Then, proper sleep routines. Sleep is your recovery. That means that your cell structures, your cellular structures, all of the neurological, physiological, can recover properly. That's like your daily maintenance. That's like your mechanic checking that everything's good for the next day, for the next race. If you don't sleep properly, you're robbing your physical mechanic to do its maintenance. That's not the best investment, is it? Whereas if you sleep properly, around about 8 hours, and that differs per person, we can work out what is the right amount for you, see what really works for you. But that's really important. Nutrition, eat sufficient, eat varied enough food, so not too much, in accordance to calories and your goals, so weight gain, weight loss, or maintenance, and with sufficient proteins. Numerous studies have shown that we really want to have enough proteins. Just 2 days ago, a new meta-analysis came out indicating that the basic rule 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight is a good variable. Now, to make that calculation easier, this is one thing that I've used for years, and I'm happy that this meta-analysis supports the previous data in the perspective that this calculation is easy. Just think of, I'm 80 kilograms, so I want 2 grams of protein per kilogram. That's 160 grams of protein per day, on average. Then you're good, yeah? Not too high, not too low, you're fine. Strength and mobility and stability can be combined in one exercise. To give you one example, and there are a plethora of different exercises. I love putting these into the programs for everyone, but especially as you get older, these are important. A deadlift, strength, exercise with mobility and stability. So you have your strengthening the back, the erector spina, keeping the spine strong and healthy, keeping your mobility, body ready to be taxed. You're getting your balance and your mobility, because you can do that in this angle. And then obviously there are ranges, progressions, regressions, For instance, if your balance is not up to standard yet, you can use a chair or put a finger on a wall. At some point you can put down a coin. All in programming. And then sleep quality. Quantity is one thing, but sleep quality is really, really important as well. Do you wake up refreshed? Now there's a list of things that you can do as checklists. How do you feel? What do you do? Eat half a banana before you go to sleep if you don't want too many high calories. Yes, bananas work. There are different foods as well. What's your hydration, your water or liquid intake in the hours before you go to sleep? Are you sitting down a lot? Because if you walk around a lot, water goes through you around about half an hour. If you sit a lot, the time is different. Obviously, watch Netflix in the evening, so then your liquid intake should be adapted. Sleep quantity, how many hours? Again, there you can figure out 7.5 to 8.5, depending on your activity and age, your food, your planning, your stress levels, priorities, deadlines, all those kind of things. But sleep quantity is important, and consistency also there is key. You can have outliers, but if you have outliers all the time, you're going to lie down in low quality. Then lighting. Now this is an important little one. I'll elaborate on this in a different video. But with the smart lighting these days, you can actually dim your lights in the evening, so you get more into the sleep vibe. Mentally slow down, calm down. But all of these lights these days, you can set them for an alarm clock. So what I love to do, and I've been testing this for years, and I've been explaining this to all my clients, top athletes, especially when they have time zones they need to work with, traveling, and businessmen traveling as well, time zones they need to wake up refreshed, wake up easy, without pressure, just wake up, and you can mimic the sun. So you can have the lights in your room or in the rooms around you come on in a slow fashion, mimicking the sun. But all of these things, you want to figure out what's the right time, how long can you set it, what works for your rhythm system. And then pillows. As we age, a lot of people start scratching over. Now, one, you can do deadlifts, you can do mobility drills consistently, you can have little daily things that cause you to do mobility drills. But pillows, I've noticed that, and please let me know if I'm wrong here. I would love to have some feedback here from people that are a little bit older or people that are 80, 90 years old, that if you start getting around the back, do you start using more pillows to support that? Meaning that in your recovery time, whilst you're sleeping, you're actually recovering into that position. Now, one of my clients, when we met, one of his things was, and at that point he was 45, and it was in their family that they had hunched back, so accepted, it's genetic. And one of his things said he wanted to improve his posture. I told him I can't promise him anything, but we will work on it consistently. If you see photos of him when he started with me, he always wore a special adapted tailored jacket to hide this, because he had a high function in society. So lots of speeches, public stress situations. And then after years, now he's comfortable walking around with only a shirt on in the summer. Just a normal shirt, no blazer or jacket covering it, because he's improved so much, and that's years of consistency. But the pillow thing I find interesting. So if you have some feedback on that, I'd love to hear about it. Then eat varied, as previously said, fruit, vegetables, a little bit of carbs, and loads of protein. You can work with portions. Generally speaking, we have a little bit of proteins, a little bit of vegetables, and loads of carbs. And with the carbs, we often have fats and sauces. Those fats and sauces that are extremely calorie rich. With the carbs, it makes it that you eat a lot of it, too much, or more than you need. And weight gain and strength loss is a bad combination as we age. So just enough, the calories, again, very important. And proteins, again, the 2 grams per kilogram rule. Most easy way to calculate it. Then mobility in daily life. Think of the overhead thing. If you drink coffee a couple of times a day, have the coffee on the highest shelf. Make sure that you, every time you grab the coffee, use a different arm, and you're challenging yourself to do it without putting in the work, but you're in a habitual routine, which is fine. Stability in daily life, again here, a whole list that we can work out. One thing is try brushing your teeth in the mornings on your right foot and in the evenings on your left foot. And that you can progress and play around with as you get better. Obviously have a rail or something to hold on just in case to make sure you're safe, but that's something that we can look at. And then strength and endurance. The stronger you are, the more you can handle. Besides being strong, your muscular system can handle a couple of bumps and punches better. Your circulation is better, your recovery is better, your sleep is better. All the previous points. And also, when you train, you have a natural hunger for healthy food. And endurance, so you can walk mountains or play with the grandchildren for hours and hours of fun. Then wrinkles, grey hair, glasses. Sorry, can't do anything about that. Not my thing. That's life. Yeah? So consistency is key. This matters for everything, especially as we get older, though it gets more important to support our natural recovery systems where we can. So, you know, can't do much about the eyes except for operations if you want to, if you need to, but that's it. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please post them below or contact me and we'll chat soon. Keep well. Age.